Hi, I'm Beth with American Patchwork and Quilting, and today I'm sharing tips for sewing block 7 in our Bright New Day block of the month. You can find the link to the free pattern in the video description. Today I'm showing you how to sew the side units that we like to call the candy units because they look like a little wrapped candy. First, you need to sew your two triangles together to create the candy portion. Since you're starting on a point, there are a couple things you can do to make sure you get a nice smooth start on that point. One is to switch out for a straight stitch plate, which I've already done. So the opening for the needle is smaller, so there's less surface area for that point to be pulled down into your machine. The really nice thing about this Husqvarna Viking Epic 95Q is this comes with the machine. So I have already switched that out. And then a leader strip is always helpful as well. Just a little scrap of fabric, just to give you a little bit of a start on that point. I've pressed the triangle square and trimmed off the dog ears, and I've laid it out with my 4 background triangles and my 2 wrapper triangles. And this is assembled diagonally, so this will be sewn together, this will be sewn together, and then this will be sewn together. So I'm going to start with the end units. And I always like to start on a square end if possible. So I'm going to start on this end. I still like to use a leader strip. It just helps make sure you get a nice smooth start. I've sewn the end units, and now we'll work on assembling the center row. So take one of your background triangles and layer it with the triangle square, and you're aligning the square edges. So there's going to be a little bit extra on the point side, but that's okay, we'll trim that off later. I've sewn my triangle to one side, and now I'll do the same thing with the other triangle. I've sewn both triangles to my center unit, so now I've got this kind of parallelogram shape, and I like to trim the dog ears off. It just sews together a little nicer without those. I've trimmed off my dog ears, and now I'm going to join the end unit to the center. We want to make sure that this seam is very well aligned so that our points line up. So when you put that on there, the seams will nest because they are pressed in opposite directions. So when you come up to line them up, you can kind of feel them just lock together. Just kind of nestle those seams right up next to each other. And then I like to add a pin across the seam just to hold it while I'm sewing, just so that I make sure that that stays perfectly aligned. I've sewn both ends to the center, and now you can see I have a lot of dog ears, and you definitely want to trim these off before you assemble your block. That'll just help it go together much nicer. Just make sure you don't trim off too much of the size of your unit and make it too small. I've completed all 4 of my candy units, and now I've laid it out with my square and a square unit and my corner squares. And now I'll sew together the block in rows. Here are the 2 completed blocks. Today I was sewing with the Eat Your Veggies collection by Sandy Gervais for Riley Blake Designs. This fun dinosaur and veggie themed line is coming September 2021. I fussy cut this cute orange dino to feature in the center. The second block uses the Hope Blooms collection by Kansas Troubles Quilters for Moda Fabrics. It's so fun to see how a more traditional fabric line looks on this block. Share your blocks with us in our Facebook group and on Instagram with the hashtag APQBOM2021. We love seeing your versions. Have fun sewing block 7.